right, guys. Hi, welcome back. Happy New Year. It is 2025. It's so crazy to think that the last year has passed and gone the way it did. And I'm so excited to be back with you guys for a new episode, our first episode of the new year. How exciting is that? I wish the girls could have joined us today, but they both have so much going on in life right now. But we still wanted to make sure we got an episode for you guys. So it's just me today, so I hope that's okay. Our holiday break was much needed, and I'm glad that we took that time to kind of just, be with ourselves, be with our families. So, but now I'm ready. I'm like reinvigorated. The new year for me is like my Super Bowl. I love the new year. I love goal setting. I love vision boards. I love everything about the new year. So this is like my favorite time of year, is like this, like kind of like recentering and all that stuff. So I'm feeling like very inspired by everything. I'm feeling inspired for the podcast. I'm feeling inspired for my personal life. I'm feeling inspired for just like so many things and endeavors. So I'm really kind of excited to see what this year brings. If you are in the Discord, I was still active in the Discord over our break, so I was able to chat with a few of you in there. But yeah, I think our last episode was the Q&A with me and Emma, which feels like so long ago. So yeah, feels good to be back. And I'll cut this out if this doesn't happen, but I am recording this. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we have our first recorded podcast episode go live. That would be amazing. I would love that to happen this year in 2025. I'm just recording it on my iPhone, but I'm tired of I am a person who's like, if I can't do it right, like I don't want to do it. And I'm like, okay, like I need to get this like really nice camera, blah, blah, blah. And so that's why I've been kind of like holding out on wanting to do videos, because I've been wanting to have like a camera or something like that. And I'm just kind of saying, fuck it, and doing an iPhone. Like I could also use my webcam, but hopefully this video gets put out. Okay, let's catch up. So let's do my highs and my lows. My high, so much has happened since I last saw you guys, but one of my New Year's resolution is to get into like my gardening era. Because this might have video, I don't want to say the word because I don't want it to get in trouble with YouTube, but I am not drinking anymore, but I still want to like have a silly, goofy time when I go out with my friends. And so I was really wanting to kind of get into edibles and stuff like that, and just like gardening in general. And our two friends of the pod, Kaylee and Mariah, they recommended a gummy to me, and I have tried it a couple times and I absolutely love it. So that is one of my highs, is that I found a gummy that works really well for me. I was really nervous it was going to make me anxious, or it was going to make me like too tired or whatever, because like I want this to be like a going out gummy. And they recommended the most perfect edible. If you are in the Discord, I will give you the name there. But yeah, so that was great. That was a huge high. And I feel really, really good. I'm really happy about that. Another high is that I just have a wonderful and supportive partner. And he's here listening to me record this. But just going into the new year, a lot of you guys know I've been going through like a lot of therapy and having a lot of like, just like not even starting exposure therapy, just like the beginnings of exposure therapy, because it's just a lot. But I just like have been reminded how wonderful and lucky I am to have the partner that I have. So my low is just 2025 in general. I'm having a rough year already. I think I like cried every single day the first week of the new year. It's just things aren't going well. I feel like they're taking a turn, but I started my year off on a really rough note. And I also, as you guys know, I have cats. And like I said, like I've been approaching exposure therapy, but with the bird flu and everything like that, I have had a particularly rough time. Right now, our home is like kind of off limits to guests, because I am very worried about my pets being exposed to anything. And, I know facts about like the likelihood of them getting them, and it's so low. But I feel like I can't even So I'm having a really hard time with that. I'm very hyper vigilant about the cats, and then I'm feeling like I'm not present, like I'm not really like spending time with the cats because I am obsessing over them and feeling like I'm in control and trying to feel like I'm in control and doing these, compulsions or these checking behaviors or tendencies to like guarantee their safety. And so, yeah, I'm having a rough 2025. That's my low, but I have hope and faith that it will get better. My basement in general is like pseudoscience and the US government and misinformation and all that stuff. I mean, like starting with the US government and the TikTok ban just feels like crazy because they are banning it because it's a foreign app. And then that just leaves us with Meta, which is like the super giant that wants to control all of our social media. And also Meta is like getting rid of their fact checking this year. I don't know. But starting out with that is the government banning TikTok. I think that is insane. At this point, I think we're like still waiting to see if it actually goes through or not. I have a feeling it won't go through, but just the idea of the government having the control to ban that, it feels like a violation of freedom of speech. But like, it's just like it's capitalism. Like, it's just letting Meta have this monopoly over social media. And if this foreign owned app is really popular, like what can we do to mitigate that and control that? So that's driving me crazy. Also, red dye number 3 being banned. Okay, interesting. I want to talk about pseudoscience and misinformation. Literally the study that they banned this off of is from like the 80s, and it's on male rats. It's in a study got like tumors, thyroid tumors from being fed red dye number 3, but they would like the equivalent of what they eat is like 40 times the amount that we would normally eat as humans. So, and now it's being banned. And then there's all this information about food dyes and just, pseudoscience is driving me crazy lately. And just like wellness influencers trying to sell things that really aren't a problem. I repost a lot of TikToks about like pseudoscience and misinformation. So you guys, if you want to see those, you can go to my TikTok and look at my repost. But like people saying, your hormones are out of balance or blah, 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 or like your gut health or cortisol, blah, blah, blah. And like, they're just trying to sell you something. It's just, I can't take it anymore. So that is my basement. The US government, grifters, people who do pseudoscience, like not interested. So yeah. I want to get into wrapping up 2024. So as you guys know, we released the podcast in 2024, which is so exciting. And so I wanted to kind of chat about kind of like how that year went for us and like hopefully how it went for you guys as well. But starting a podcast is very interesting when you've never done a podcast before. And so I think I want to cue you guys in on like a lot of the behind the scenes. Like we've had this idea for such a long time and we've talked about this, and we started talking about, I think, doing the podcast in like about March maybe is when we started talking about doing the podcast, maybe even February. And then we recorded our first episode in April, and then we recorded a bunch of episodes before we released. We did our photo shoot so that we could, get our podcast header, all that stuff. So it was just a lot of like really exciting and fun behind the scenes work before we dropped the podcast. And so that was like the first part of my year. And then the rest of my year has been like, I don't know, just like figuring out like what you guys like to hear and interacting with you guys on social media and what to post and when to post it and all this stuff. And I have learned a lot. Ellie is like our social media like guru. She does a lot of like marketing and salon management for like social media and stuff like that. And so I've learned a lot from Ellie specifically in that regard. But yeah, I just had no idea the amount of work that went into it. And to me, it doesn't feel like a ton of work because I enjoy it so much, but it is like a lot of different layers. And so, yeah, that has been such an interesting part of the podcast and starting the podcast last year. I asked on our Instagram stories. If you guys don't know, usually if someone's posting on the Instagram stories, it is me. But I asked on the Instagram stories what your guys' favorite episodes were from last year. And the top two tied were Q&A episodes and our mobility aid episode. And I agree, those two were very great episodes. We had two Q&A episodes, but both of those episodes are great. My personal favorite are Q&As because I want to know what you guys want to know. I feel like then we can easily like answer your questions and you guys have easier access to us to ask those questions. And so I don't know, but those were your guys' two favorites. And I'm not shocked or surprised by that. I would probably also agree that those were some of our favorites. But personally for me, for 2024 was actually a really great year for me. For the most part, it comes with highs and lows, but I ran a half marathon last year, which was one of my huge goals, was to run a half marathon. And I did that in April. And if you would have told me a couple years ago that I ran a half marathon, I'd be like, absolutely not. But I'm just like so proud of myself and the discipline that it took to do that. My plan was to run the full marathon in October this last year, and that didn't end up happening. I've been having issues with my hip flexor, and so when I started to train again, the pain came back. So what I would love to do this year is maybe plan to either run the half or the full marathon in October, which is the Portland Marathon. I would love to run the full because I want to just say that I did it and then just never do it again. But I could also do a half and be totally fine as well. So we'll see how that goes. What were some of my other 2024 goals and resolutions? So like I said, New Year's is my Super Bowl. I am a resolution girl. I love resolutions. So, but I didn't meet all my goals. But the thing is, I set like 20 goals so that if I only meet half of them, I'm happy. So, one of my goals was to get 3 new tattoos. I only got 2. I got my little Coraline circus mouse and I got the little cat on my thigh, which is honestly 2 out of 3 is pretty good, especially since tattoos are so expensive. So I'm very happy with that. My second goal was to read 36 books. I think I ended up reading 38 or 39, so I met that goal. I made it a goal. I'm not going to say the name of the brand, but there was this brand that I have a lot of clothing items from, and I was like purchasing stuff from every single drop. And then I feel like the quality of their drops kind of went down, but I was still purchasing things because like of my loyalty to the brand. And so one of my goals was to not purchase anything from that brand this year. And I didn't purchase anything from that brand this year. And I just recently found out that the girl who created the brand, the reason why I found the brand, actually like got out of the brand this year. And so now that makes sense where I'm like, oh, like of course their quality went down and it wasn't as exciting because the person that made this whole brand isn't even in it anymore. But anyway, this is one I didn't meet. I wanted to start a cat emergency savings fund. I did not meet that goal. I do want to do that this year and have Zach and I contribute to an emergency fund for the cats, because that's a major stressor of mine, that like taking the cats to the emergency vet would financially devastate me. So I want to just have like a high yield savings account that we just like put money into. Another one of my goals was to broaden my music library. If you know, I am a huge Taylor Swift fan, and so I felt like that was like dominating my like Spotify Wrapped every year. And I will say that I do think I broadened my music library this year. I discovered some new artists, I listened to some new music, I like made a new playlist for the year, and I just like added songs to it throughout the year as I like discovered them. And yeah, so I do think I broadened my music library for sure. I do think I met that goal. I wanted to get I didn't meet this one. I wanted to get my second earring holes pierced. I only have one single piercing in each ear, and I really have been wanting to get my seconds for like a very long time, But then like as the year went on, I'm like, oh, I'll do it. And then I just never did it. So that's that thing with those goals that aren't like habits. It's like you can push them off and you only have to do them once. And then at the end of the year comes and you're like, oh, This next one I didn't really like meet, but I did not meet. I put prioritize bedtime and routine. I do think I got a better routine down. It's like sticking to it that's my issue. But I did get my Hatch alarm clock this year, and that has been like the best investment in my sleep that I could have made. I love my Hatch, like obsessed. I love my Hatch. I do think that has like aided in my bedtime routine, but yes, I don't think I like met that one, but I don't think I like didn't do it. I think I took steps towards getting better. This one is another one that I don't think I like didn't meet or met. I put no such thing as cringe. And I think I was doing a kind of a good job with this like middle of the year, but then towards the end of the year and into now, I'm having a really hard time with perception and how people perceive me, which doesn't aid to like kind of just like posting whatever you want and not worrying if people think you're cringe, because I worry about everything that people think about me. So I didn't really meet that, but I did make some effort towards it. And so I would love to get back to that point of like, you know, kind of posting whatever the fuck I want and not really like worrying how it's received. And I think I took a break from social media at the beginning of the year. I deactivated my Instagram account and I've reactivated it now, but I've archived everything except for my newest post. And I think that's like, I'm taking this year as like a rebrand. I want to like rebrand myself. And so I think I'm like taking steps in the right direction of like changing like how I'm putting myself out on social media. So that's another goal I can carry into 2025. This one I did meet. I said commit to gluten and dairy free. So I did commit to gluten and dairy free for like the first 3-4 months of the year. And then I was like, this is actually is like not doing anything for me. It's not reducing any inflammation or whatever that it's promised to do for me. So I stopped being gluten and dairy free, and I am so much happier. I think about food far less than I was when I was being gluten and dairy free. It had no effect on my health whatsoever. So I did meet that goal. I did commit to it, and then I realized it didn't work for me, so I stopped it. So this one is a draw. I said see more movies in theater. I saw one movie in theater in 2023, and it was When Evil Lurks. Where Evil Lurks? When Evil Lurks. Can't remember. Foreign film. Very good. Best horror movie I've ever seen. So good. And then I again only saw one movie in theater this year. On Christmas Day, we went and saw Nosferatu. Also, so good. So spooky. I really, really loved it. Lily Rose Depp was amazing. So I didn't see more movies in theater this year, but I also didn't see less movies in theater this year. So, my next goal I didn't do, but now I'm whatever. It didn't matter that I did it or not. I wanted to try cold plunging because I heard about all the benefits from it. And this is like leads into the pseudoscience and misinformation basement, but I wanted to try cold plunging this year. But now like learning more about the scientific side of cold plunging, there's really like no like proven really benefit for it. And so like I'm not mad that I didn't meet that goal. So I'm not going to try cold plunging. I'm not going to force myself to be fucking cold. Are you kidding me? I'm already cold on my own. I'm not doing it. Also, Dr. Mike, different Dr. Mike than the hot Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike Israel, thank you. He posted a video today on YouTube about how cold plunging is like, there's really no benefit to it. So take with that what you will. He has a PhD in exercise science. Sports physiology. Zach's feeding me information from over here. We love that Dr. Mike. That Dr. Mike is like our Bible. We do not subscribe to the other Dr. Mike, just that Dr. Mike. Love him. Anyways, and then run a half marathon, check that off. And then the things I was manifesting this in 2024 was a pay raise / or a new position. And I'm happy to say I got both pay raise and a new position. And I started that job in June. And yeah, So that was really exciting. I was also manifesting a bigger apartment, and we did. We moved into a bigger apartment, and we love this apartment. I love it here so much. I was trying to manifest some self-confidence. I don't think I really improved on that this year. I would like to do a little more work on that in 2025. And then I also manifested being a savings queen. I don't really think I grew my savings that much. So yeah. So let's get into my 2025 goals. So I actually have a lot. I have way more this year than I did last year. My first goal, it says thought daughter, feel feelings. So it's like thought daughter, like THOUGHT. A huge reason why I started going back to therapy was because I felt like I wasn't fully feeling my feelings. I was like stopping and drifting into autopilot to kind of like protect myself. And I actually think I've done a far better job this last year of feeling my feelings, but I feel like I want to do that even more, and I want to be mindful and like stopping and thinking like, what am I feeling? What am I thinking? And like tapping into those. So I think I did do a good job of that last year, but I'm carrying that on to this year and wanting to feel feelings. My second goal, which I had my last alcoholic drink on Christmas Day. Zach and I went and got like a Christmas dinner. But I did not have that much alcohol at the end of the year. It just makes me feel like shit. And I wasn't really a big drinker to begin with. I maybe drank like once a month. And so I was like, you know what, like, let's just like not drink alcohol this year. So I'm not drinking alcohol this year. I do have 2 exceptions, and I do think you are okay to have exceptions with your goals. One of my exceptions is if Zach and I get engaged this year, I'm allowed to have champagne, and we're going to London, and I want to allow myself to have a pint in a pub in London. So those are my 2 exceptions, but other than that, no alcohol. Another one of my like 2025 goals is to be a gamer girl. And instead of scrolling on my phone, like playing games. So I've already been doing this. I've been doing like The Sims 4 and playing that and doing that instead of being on my phone. I am like a little bit addicted, but this always happens like the second that I download it. Every time I play it for like 5 hours. I feel it tapering down, but when I first downloaded it, I was playing it every day for like multiple hours a day. So, but yeah, I want to get my like gamer girl era, get some more games for my Switch, all this stuff. I actually we've been talking about doing a Patreon, and if we do a Patreon, I would love to stream on there, and I would love to stream with Ellie because Ellie is a gamer for sure. So, yeah. I carried on this other goal from last year to get 3 new tattoos. I want to get 3 more tattoos at least. I just want to start working on my sleeve. I have a couple tattoos on this arm, and like I want to be tatted. I want to be fully tatted on both my arms and my chest and my stomach and eventually my legs. But 3 new tattoos is going to be the baseline, and then start adding to my sleeve. I found an artist that I really love who did both my tattoos last year, and what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep working with her and book out like whole days and just knock out a bunch of tattoos. And she said she does that. She's like, send me a list of like all your ideas and we can like work it, and then I can let you know how many you can get done in a full day session. So yeah. I want to pay off debt this year. I have credit cards that I've put medical debt on, and I just want to clear those off. I would love to have no credit card debt at the end of this year. That would be amazing. Another one of my goals is to leave the country. So Zach and I are planning on going to London. We just need to buy our plane tickets. So goal is to leave the country and go to London this year. Another goal is I want to go to the beach more often. Living here in Portland, we're like 2 hours away from the beach. I would love to go like 3 times this year. We went to the beach 0 times this last year, and the beach is the Oregon coast specifically. The coast is my happy place. I absolutely love it there. There's just like, I feel a type of way there that I don't feel anywhere else. Another one of my goals is to be serious about like my overconsumption and like holding myself accountable. I think the older I've gotten, the better I've been about overconsumption, but I'm still somebody who is definitely influenced. And a lot of the things I have, like, I don't regret purchasing, but I want to be mindful of my environmental impact of my purchasing and my spending. And so I just want to be like, okay, this thing I'm buying, I want to stop and be like, do I already have something that serves this purpose? Is this something that I could thrift? Stuff like that. Is it ethically made? Is there an alternative brand that I can maybe spend more money and get something ethically made instead of buying something like fast fashion or whatever? So I just want to be more serious about that and be like a conscious consumer. I said, you do not need to go to so many concerts. I have been in a concert phase the last 2 years, which just leads me to be spending so much money on concerts, and I just do not need to go to so many concerts this year. I wrote down like a list. I'm like, okay, if any of these artists tour this year, I will buy tickets. But anything outside that list, I am not buying tickets for. So I want to go to less concerts this year. I already mentioned this earlier, but I also wanted to be in my gardening era this year. I'm off to a really great start. I think that's a good one. I added this goal back in for this year is to have bedtime boundaries. I just need to be like, okay, like we can hang out, but I need to go home by this time so I can go to bed by the time I want to go to bed. Because I am a person, like, we come home from hanging out with friends and I have to like decompress from being social, and it takes me like 1 to 2 hours to do that. And so like I can't just like come home at 11 p.m. and be like, all right, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. No, I fully need like 2 hours to just like get into a place where I can go to sleep. So I just want to be more like have more boundaries around my bedtime this year. Another goal I have is no food delivery. I actually am not a person who does food delivery very much. I have always thought it was a waste of money, but when I'm on my period, sometimes I just have to get Little Caesars, and we usually do food delivery because there's none near us and neither of us want to drive there. So I would like to not do any food delivery this year, which I haven't done so far, which is good. This is a fun one. I think your goals should be fun. I think they should be exciting and interesting and fun and not so serious, but I want to listen to the entire Mac Miller discography. I haven't listened to all of the Mac Miller albums, and then he has his new posthumous album coming out, and actually it comes out in 2 hours, but I want to listen to like all the Mac Miller music because everything Mac Miller that I've heard I love, and so I'm like, I need to go back in the archives and listen to everything. So yeah, this one, okay, like I said, I am a Swiftie. I love Taylor Swift. I went to the Eras tour. I'm a Taylor Swift truther. I have the 1989 cardigan. I have pretty much all of her records on vinyl. Big Swiftie. I would like my top artist for Spotify Wrapped to not be Taylor Swift this year, purely because like I want to listen to more artists. And I think it'll be hard because I'm pretty sure she'll release like 2 to 3 albums this year. But I don't want her to be my top artist. I want to listen to more different kinds of music this year and not just like go back to my comfort zone, which is Taylor Swift music, and love Taylor Swift. I can listen to her whenever I want, but I do want to continue to broaden my music library and not have her be my top artist this year. We'll see if that happens. I'm not going to be like bent out of shape if it doesn't, but we'll see. Another one of my goals, now that we're in our new apartment, I want to host more often. So I wrote a couple things down, like I would love to host Galentine's this year. I hosted a Galentine's last year and it was super fun. I would like to host like some like dinners out on our new patio and stuff like that. So I just want to be able to host this year, which would be really fun. Another goal is to try 1 new recipe per week, which we've actually done pretty well at so far because I got a pressure cooker for Christmas. And I've never had a pressure cooker. Zach has. So we've been trying new recipes in there, mostly pasta, but I think only pasta actually. Yeah, we've only done pasta, but we've done different kinds of pasta, but same thing, different font. But yeah, so trying out a new recipe per week I think that's attainable. I also made a spreadsheet where I like write down every recipe we try per week and how we liked it, and what like method we used to cook it and how long it took and if it was expensive and all that stuff. So yeah, if you can't tell, love goals, love being organized, love spreadsheets. Another one of my goals, which I think a lot of people usually have this goal, I know Zach has this goal this year for sure, is to eat out less, which I do think we've been eating out less, but I think that's purely been a side effect of being broke post Christmas. But I would like to eat out less this year. And if we are eating out, I would like to not go fast food. I would prefer to go to like a local small business to eat, like our favorite restaurants that are local here to Portland. So yeah, less eating out. Okay, my next goal, I upped my reading goal for this year. I want to read 52 books this year, so basically a book a week, and I really want to read every book that is on my shelf. I have a lot of books on my shelf that I have not read, and I do book of the month, so I get a book every month, and I don't always read it in that month, so I really want to read a book a week, basically, and then also finish the books on my shelf. Read all of them. No book left unread. For like kind of like, I don't know, not fitness goal, but I want to focus on a high protein diet this year, because I'm going to be in my gym era this year. I'm going to be going back to the gym. I used to be a gym girly. I used to go every single day. Like my day was not complete unless I went to the gym. I still have so much Gymshark clothing, but in the past that was motivated from a place of weight loss, and now I'm in a headspace where I'm motivated to go to the gym because I feel better when I go to the gym. It helps my mental health, it helps my physical health. I just want to be in my gym era this year, and I would love to be a muscle mommy. Like, I want to be thick with muscles. So part of that will be focusing on a high protein diet, which is what I have written down. What I love about a high protein diet is you eat actually a lot of food because you're trying to hit that protein goal. And so I want to focus on that this year. It doesn't help that eggs are like $1 million right now, and eggs are like by far my preferred method of protein, eggs and cheese. So that's great, but that's another one of my goals, to focus on a high protein diet. This one is a goal that I have with Kaylee and Mariah. We want to get into soccer this year. And I'm talking about not American. I'm talking about football. I'm talking about across the seas, across the pond. My uncle is a Liverpool fan, so I'm kind of like grandfathered into the Liverpool fandom. And apparently they're like the best team. So I'm like, oh, wow, great. Like, I picked the best team. But I'm not a bandwagoner because I have personal ties to it. So Liverpool is my team, and we actually haven't watched like any games yet, but I want to plan like some girly, like early morning, because it's on at like 7 a.m. breakfast and hangouts and like pajama parties, soccer watch parties. So yeah, get into soccer this year and go to more Timbers games, which is our local team, and they're great. I love going to Timbers games. And then my last goal is to focus more on my relationship. Last year was a big friend year. We spent a lot of time with friends, but I would love to spend just more time one-on-one with Zach this year. And so for me, focusing on my relationship will be like doing date nights and intentional no phone time and stuff like that. And I feel like we've already been spending like more time together this year, and so we're 2 weeks in, but like we have been spending a lot of time together so far this year, so I think we're off to a good start. But yeah, those were all my goals for this year. What are your goals? Zach wants to go to more concerts. Well, the thing is, pretty much almost every single concert I went to last year, I didn't go with you. So you can go to concerts on your own. So those are all of my goals for 2025. Like I said, I make a lot, and then if I only meet half of them, then I'm happy. I know like a couple years ago, we have this ice cream brand in Portland called Salt and Straw, and I know they're in a couple more states now, but Salt and Straw started in Portland, and I believe they started as a food truck, but they have monthly flavors that they swap out every single month. And so I think in like 2019 my goal was to go every single month and try the flavors. And so like those are like fun goals. Like you can set like silly fun goals. Your goals don't have to be self-improvement. They don't have to be physical. They don't have to be mental. Like you can just set goals like that to like go get ice cream once a month. And that's fun and that's exciting to look forward to. I don't have that goal anymore because I think Salt and Straw is on my out list basically. Like their flavors suck now. Their new flavors. They didn't even do a peppermint hot chocolate this year for Christmas. So, out for 2025 is Salt and Straw. And I think a lot of people would agree with me on that. I think they just like kind of corporate sold out a little bit. Anyway, so I'm going to move on to my ins and outs list of 2025. I don't have a ton on mine. In unprompted compliments to people about niche things. Like we were a while ago, we were talking about golf because I used to golf, and Zach was like, yeah, Anna's really good at golf. Thank you. I am really good at golf, and it's like a niche interest, and it's like a random thing to be good at. And I wasn't even saying that I was like, he just said I was good, unprompted. So yeah, compliments like that. One of my outs for this year is, this one's going to be interesting because I am a Libra, so I'm naturally a peacemaker, but I do also have like a very strong inner like voice, and I am very like convicted in my morals and my values, and I don't really like have a problem with confrontation if it's necessary. I think I'm really good at picking my battles, but this is one that I'm saying is out for 2025, is like not like checking your friends out of fear of their reaction. And like, I don't know, just like calling people out. And not like calling people out in a rude way, but like being honest with people about like how they make you feel, and how like friends are like saying things and like you're like, oh, like I don't want to say that that's wrong because I don't want them to feel like they're dumb, and I don't want to blah, blah, blah. And so you just don't, like, that's actually rude, is to let people think things that are actually false. So like, that's one of my outs for this year, is like not saying things out of fear of reactions, specifically from friends. Like, and just being like, that's actually not true. Or when you do that, it hurts my feelings. Or when you do that, I'm disappointed. Whatever. Stuff like that. And obviously, like, my friends don't have to conform to that. They don't have to like receive that information. But like, I feel like I don't want to invalidate my like feelings about things in order to just keep the peace, you know? Anyway, that's one of my outs. In wearing what you like, not just trendy stuff. I really want to be better about that this year. I do think I've been really good about, especially the last like 2 or 3 years, I think I've been really good about like deciphering what trends I actually like. And like my leopard print pants, love my leopard print pants. They are a staple, and even when they're not in trend anymore, I'm gonna keep wearing them because I love them. But there's like a lot of trends that I was just like, like I don't think I'm gonna participate in that. Like mesh shoes, no. I also didn't really give in that much to the bow trend. I love bows, as in like bows in your hair and like the physical bows, but like bow patterns and stuff, like that didn't speak to me. And it was still is very trendy. So I think that's another in for this year. Like wearing what you like and not just what's trending. Ow. RFK and Make America Healthy Again. That's a major out for me. And it keeps falling into my like pseudoscience and misinformation like stuff. But I'm just like so sick of it. And I feel like it's been building up and building up and building up this year. The more shit that I see on social media, like that is just false. And then people are just repeating it and parroting it. because I don't know. I saw a TikTok today that's like, yeah, like it's like just a bunch of people being like, I know something that you don't, and I figured this huge thing out, and blah, blah, blah. And really, that's just not it. Like, science is cool, you guys. Science is awesome. The scientific process and research is so cool. And science-backed treatments and evidence is also so cool. So, a major out for me is RFK. It's already been out for me. I've been a hater of RFK for quite a while, but even more so this year. RFK, if you are listening to this, I'm coming for you and your brand. Anyway, out is RFK in Maha. In being sexy and spooky. I think that's going to be my like vibe for this year, is being sexy and spooky. I don't really like, I have a hard time tapping into my like sexy sexual energy because I was raised very religious, and so that was like very suppressed in me, is like being sexy, and because that was like not encouraged, and it was like sex is bad. And so I really want to tap into like being sexy this year. I would really love that. I'm feeling very inspired by Tate McRae, and that was a music artist that I got really into last year. And so, but also sexy and spooky, like Nosferatu, like kind of like started something in me that can't be stopped. That movie is sexy and spooky. I want to continue on that vibe in my personal life. So like Nosferatu, the new Ethel Cain album, that's called Perverts. Like, that's the vibe for my 2025. So that's my in, being sexy and spooky. I don't have very many outs. My last out is over protecting your peace. Like, I had a really good conversation about this with my friends, Kylie and Taylor, that we are in an era of people that are protecting their peace so much that it's like harming their relationships, like canceling last minute for like, because we know as chronically ill people, we have to cancel on things last minute. That's just like a fact of life, because your health is unpredictable and you never know how you're going to feel. But canceling last minute for like reasons that aren't like very valid, that's like a huge out for me in 2025. Like, in is following through on your commitments this year. Because that's like a core pillar of friendship. And I'm somebody who, I could talk about friendship like all day, every day. I have friends that I've had for like ever, and I have worked very hard to maintain and keep those friendships. And not saying that like you have to maintain and keep friendships. If they're not serving you, then don't. But I love my friends. I have such wonderful friends, and sometimes that means like doing things when I like maybe don't 100% want to do them, or like don't feel 100% my best, but still like following through on that commitment. And I never regret it. I never regret following through on plans with friends when I was like, oh, maybe I'll cancel. I never regret them. So that's like my out for 2024, is like not being accountable and being flaky. Being flaky is out in 2025. Did I say 2024? I meant 2025. Being flaky is out. I have 2 more ins. In, thinking before responding. Like, give it a second. Just give it a second before you respond. And you know what? My last in, I know people might think that this is an out, but it's an in for me this year. Checking to see who unfollowed me. Because every time I post something political, people unfollow me. And if you're someone that I like also follow, and you unfollow me because I post something about basic human rights, just go ahead and remove me as a follower if you're going to unfollow me. But if you unfollowed me because I don't know, advocated for the less fortunate, I'm going to unfollow you back. So that's my in for 2025, is checking to see who unfollowed you. You can like copy and paste your lists, your like following and your followers into like these like list checkers, and then you can see who doesn't follow you back by that. And that's what I'm doing in 2025, because I'm not interacting with your content if you don't believe in basic human rights. So That's my ins and outs. Okay, so we asked in the Discord. I wanted your guys' ins and outs, and you guys seriously gave us such good ones. Let me pull it up. I asked for everyone's ins and outs of 2025 in the Discord. These were so amazing. Oh my God, Olivia's list. Olivia, if you're listening to this, your list is like you peered inside my soul. So this is Olivia's ins and outs list. Ins, cargo pants, Muppet Renaissance, which I responded to that. I said Zach would be so excited for a Muppet Renaissance. Being ugly is another in. Wearing compression socks, purple, and playing more board games. Those were all of Olivia's ins. Their outs, first one is taking too many supplements. Like heavy agree on that. Out. The next out. Hate following people online. So true. If you hate someone, why are you following them? Just unfollow. 3, too short pants, which is funny. I think Olivia maybe is like a taller friend. So they might have a hard time with pants being too short. But I totally get that. 4, clutter. I think decorative clutter versus random clutter, I can see both sides. This last one, things having protein or caffeine that don't need to have protein or caffeine. I so agree with that. Just let things be things. You don't need to add protein or caffeine to them. Zach's shaking his head because he loves protein and he loves caffeine. But I agree. I don't think you need to add protein or caffeine to like every thing. Like, you know? What?
Like 0.2% of the population gets enough protein.
He said 0.2% of the population gets enough protein. But Olivia elaborated on this because I'm the same way. Interesting, I should say way. They were saying that a lot of the things that get added into things that are like extra protein upsets their stomach, and it's usually whey. And I understand that because whey also upsets my stomach.
There's alternatives.
I know, but that's what the example that they gave, because they like sent a picture of this pasta sauce and it's like 28 grams of protein, and they're like, this upsets my stomach. So yeah, like you could like get different protein if you did like bonza noodles, you know, or like there's like protein noodles, but like not everything needs to have a protein alternative for it. So, or sometimes, you know what? I know said my goal was like to have a high protein diet. Sometimes you can just eat buttered noodles. And it doesn't have to have any protein content. And that's fine. So those were Olivia's ins and outs. Those were actually some of my very favorites of the day. Sarah's ins and outs. Let's see. Sarah said, in prioritizing yourself, Frosted Dr. Pepper. I've never heard of frosted Dr. Pepper. Is it like a slushie? Frosted Dr. Pepper. Sounds yum. And 90s TV. I would agree on that, like 90s TV. I love 90s TV. That would be a fun one to have in 2025. Sarah's outs are mean people. So true. Judging other people publicly. I love that they added the publicly, because fundamentally I know who I am. I'm going to judge people privately. But like, I don't need to make a whole post judging someone on like Reddit, you know? Like, no more judging people publicly. Not necessary. Or like making a like quick TikTok being like, I don't know, and being mean. And then their last out was clothing trends other than comfortable, which I think is great. And like I said, like that's one of my outs was like, or one of my ins was like dressing for things you like and not just being trendy. Kelly sent her list for ins and outs. Her ins were advocating for your health, always a good one. Fun mobility aids, totally. This is going to be the year of like cute, fun mobility aids. Trail mix. I love trail mix. And my very, very favorite trail mix is the Trader Joe's one. It has the perfect ratio of M&Ms to everything else. So check it out if you are a trail mix connoisseur. The Trader Joe's one, my very favorite. Another one of Kelly's ins is correcting pseudoscience, which is also something that I touched on, like correcting people if they're wrong. Jelly cats, that's a good in. Jelly cats are so fun. Reading more books, totally true. And their last in was Trader Joe's coffee creamer, which I do like Trader Joe's coffee creamer. And they have both like dairy and non-dairy options. I really have liked the ones I've tried. I tried a cinnamon bun one a little while ago, and it was so good. So Trader Joe's coffee creamer, I would agree with that. Out, Kelly's outs. Energy drinks was the first one. I can't even remember the last time I haven't had an energy drink. I can't do energy drinks anymore. But that's one of Kelly's outs was energy drinks. And another one was shrinking yourself to fit in. And I so agree with that. I have been told many, many times that I am too much, mostly in breakup situations. And I feel like that has like made me want to be less and be small. And like, I know I'm not going to be, and I think this comes with age too, but like, I know I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea. So I agree. Shrinking yourself to fit in is out in 2025. They also put Make America Healthy Again for their out. Kelly and I have a lot of same views on science and pseudoscience and misinformation. So that was a funny one that we both had. Another one of their outs is medical gaslighting. So true. And last out is bigotry and misogyny, which I love that. That's a great list. Good ins and outs. Another user in the Discord, their screen name is Mauser, but their in was moving in with my sister, which is so fun. How fun would it be if you were like close with your sister to live with your sister again? Like how fun and exciting would that be? I would love that. Ellie and I have lived together a couple times in our life, and like how fun would it be if we moved back in together? Out, Mauser's out is living with my ex-girlfriend who is low-key ableist. I think that is so out. Being ableist is out in 2025. Like you have no excuse anymore. Okay. Another user in the Discord is Jordan. Ooh, she has a cool like moon thing in her profile. Okay. Anyways, Jordan, her out is overthinking / ruminating on literally anything and everything. I totally get that. Like I said, I've been working through some OCD stuff. So clinically, I'm really good at that. But ruminating is so hard. And if we can all try to do that less in 2025, I think that'd be great. I feel like I keep saying 2024 when I mean 2025. So just know that I maybe am misspeaking. And then her in was trusting and believing my gut. And I think that's a good one too. I think like you know what's best. So trusting and believing your gut is a good in. Oh, and then Sarah added another out. She said, I thought of another out using but after anything negative to take away from the negation. For an example, no offense, but, or not to be ungrateful, but. I agree with that. Say what you mean to say. Say what you need to say. Say what you need to say. I think that's a John Mayer song. I love John Mayer. Maybe that should be my out for 2025. Anyway. And then the last one we got was from Mary Beth. And she said, in TikTok not getting banned. So I so agree with that. That's such a good in. Zach, do you have ins and outs for 2025?
No, I got an any.
You got a what?
I have an any.
You have an any? Oh, Zach's in is gatekeeping more.
So I'm going to gatekeep Muppets.
He's going to gatekeep Muppets.
Yeah, so that's mine.
Okay, I'll let Olivia know.
So
Olivia,
less Muppets.
just so you know, less Muppets for you. More Muppets for Zach. Less Muppets for everyone. More Muppets for Zach. I was not raised in a Muppet household. I actually never saw a Muppet movie until I started dating Zach. So maybe we can watch some Muppet movies this year. Am I a man? Am I a Muppet? I haven't seen it, but my aunt loves that. Rochelle, Ellie's mom, loves that song. So yeah, we can watch the Muppet movies. Okay, in for you is gatekeeping more. 2025 predictions. My prediction for 2025 is that Chaperone is going to take a break from music. I'm predicting that. And then last year the like cute baby animals of the year were Mudang and Pesto, so like a penguin and a hippo. My projected cute animal of the year, I'm going to guess 2. I'm going to guess a otter or like a seal, something in that realm, or some sort of fish. I'm going aquatic. I think it will be aquatic baby animal of the year. Zach, do you have an baby animal prediction for 2025? Giraffe. Zach's prediction is baby giraffe. Okay. Who do you think's gonna die this year? No. Like celebrities or like public figures. Do you think Tom Hanks? Oh yeah, I think that's a good guess. You know, what about Danny DeVito? You don't think he's gonna die this year? He's not old enough. But what if it's like random? It's Always Sunny has to keep going. Yeah. What if It's Always Sunny ends this year? That would be crazy. That would be crazy. I'm trying to think if I have any other predictions for 2025. Like personal predictions, I feel like maybe I'm going to meet a celebrity or like someone kind of famous, like internet famous, TV, movie famous. I'm going to predict that maybe I'll meet a celebrity. I got kind of close last year. I met the son of a celebrity that I love. Like, I love the celebrity. I don't love him. He can fuck off. But, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this very chatty episode. Once we have the girls back for our next episode, we kind of will get into more the format that we're going to be doing going forward. But I do want to announce that we are changing our release schedule. So we're going to be releasing actually every other week now. Just with being adults and having crazy lives, that just makes it a little bit easier for us and makes us not have any resentment towards how often we have to record. So we are going to be doing every other week, still on Friday, but it's going to be every other week now. And then we also are thinking we might be doing a Patreon and then release a bonus episode through Patreon, and then like other things through Patreon, like blog posts, and like I said, like I think streaming would be really fun. So if we do that, we'll announce it for sure. And just our content in general, I think is going to shift more into this like casual, chatty vibe. We are going to bring guests on this year, which is so exciting. And we already have like a couple people kind of ready to go lined up. We would love our content to just be on the person and, how we live our lives inside of chronic illness. So it's going to get chatty from here on out. I'm sorry if that's not what you like, but I think we have a fun little dynamic going for us. So, but yeah, so that's what our content's going to be looking like in 2025. I'm really excited to see what this year brings for the Chronically Chill brand in general. I would love to have our first sponsor this year. I would love to maybe do some merch this year. There's a lot of things I put on my vision board. I have some dream guests that I would love to have on the podcast. My like ultimate number one dream guest is Lil Simsy, who's a Sim streamer, and she has endometriosis. I would love to have her on the podcast to just talk about that and how she does streaming as her career and stuff like that. But so if anyone knows Little Simsy, let her know. I'm looking for her and I want her on the pod. Anyway, I hope you guys are all having a good start to your 2025. I know not everyone is a goal person, And that is okay. You do not have to be a goal person. I have a lot of Capricorn placements. So I am unfortunately very much a goal person. But you don't have to set goals. You don't have to set goals. You don't have to attain anything crazy this year. If all you do in 2025 is survive, that is great. And I'm proud of you for that. But yeah, if you have anything to add to our ins and outs or any resolutions you want to put, we'll have an Instagram post up for this episode on the Instagram, and you can drop it down in the comments letting us know what your ins and outs are. And then hopefully this video will go up on the YouTube. If you're watching this video, hi, our first video, and let us know down in the comments of the YouTube video and subscribe to our channel, which is so exciting. All right. Well, I am going to make dinner and I'm going to edit this because I am doing this on a Thursday night before we're supposed to drop. And yeah. All right. Love you guys. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.